joining us for this very, very special big reveal live show with none other than Angela Ardolino, one of our favorite peoples on the planet. I want to say
I'm all of butterflies and tulip tops right now. I'm just so excited.
AngelinaArdolino.com, CBD Dog Health, your natural dog, like literally, I don't know, fill in the blank.
Angela. Oh, you mean like how you do everything with cats? You mean like that?
Maybe the like one and only. And one of our most beautiful friends and
beautiful humans changing the world for all of our pet companions. Thank you so much. For anyone that does not already know you, and how could they not? Could you please give a little intro about who you are and how you're changing the world and why you're so passionate about this?
Hi, I'm Angela Ardolino. I am a lover of cannabis, fungi, and Mother Nature. And all medicine exists. Everything we need exists in nature. So when I learned that little ditty, I was like, well, anytime someone needs some help, I'm going to go find that natural medicine that exists in nature first. And then it's amazing because I never thought I would be a formulator ever. But it wasn't until, and this is where I think like some of the best products are made are from people like me who go out and try to find something in the marketplace and can't find it made pure, made without preservatives, made without, without profit in mind.
Shortcuts.
But instead of what our animals need. Like, I'm a pet parent. It should be easy. It shouldn't be difficult. I should be able to get one dose in that dropper. Everything, like all the things that just didn't make sense to me. So that's how I ended up being a formulator. And I concentrate on adaptogens. I attended the University of Vermont. I was actually invited to their inaugural class back in 2016 to their School of Medicine for the study of the endocannabinoid system. And the endocannabinoid system is this incredible system that we all have, including our kitties, that not only interacts with cannabis medicine, but also interacts with adaptogens, including fungi, our mushrooms. So, of course, that's why I love them so much. And I know a lot about 12 of them. I learn more and more every day. Like I get questions every day. My cat has this, my dog has this. What do you think works best? And I'll look into my research papers and find what I have clinical research that shows me what works best. And then I'll be like, okay, try this one. This is where you can get it. Or hopefully I already have it. But mushrooms became very important to me when my Doberman was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. And so I knew which mushrooms I wanted to give her, but it was during COVID and I was using a brand that comes from, all their stuff comes from China. It's grown in China and I couldn't even get some of them. Mm-hmm. I also was putting them in her food and I was adding like 8 to 10 of them and her food was becoming mud. And it was just, I was like, why can't I have a tincture just like I do with the hemp products? Right. And I couldn't find anything. I could find mycelium products, which I'm happy to share with our audience what the difference is. But man, if we thought the hemp industry was messed up, like mushroom, I like to say CBD hemp industry is unregulated. Mushrooms, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a free-for-all. And what's terrible is that we've got like this wonderful person named Paul Stamets, who's like the godfather of mushrooms. Everybody knows about him. He knows everything. He's discovered some new species. But what people don't understand is that when someone becomes popular like that, a company's going to come along and go, you should have a mushroom product. So they did that and put his name on it. And they're all mycelium products. And that's what you want to stay away from. And let me explain to you what the hell I'm talking about.
I love you. I love your brain so much because you're always, we get together and we chat and then she goes into like big word land. And I'm like, okay, explain that. Now explain that.
First of all, everyone's seen the awesome Netflix documentary, Fantastic Fungi. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's awesome. You're going to love it. You'll hear about Paul Stamets. But you'll also learn about the mycelium, which is basically like the roots of the mushroom. So the mycelium is awesome. It has some incredible medicinal properties, but you can't really like pull it out of the earth and separate it from what it is entangled in. They are working on where they're growing it in water now. So soon, I'm sure one day we're going to have some very killer mycelium products. But for right now, what happens is, I just like to ask this question. Would you rather, but this sounds like that game, would you rather?
I love that. We got our drinks. We got our drinks.
Okay.
Go.
Would you rather take a mushroom supplement from a mushroom that's growing on the, whatever it grows in nature, whether it's decaying wood or a side of a tree or on the ground and decaying leaves, whatever it is, or out of a caterpillar's body, whatever that mushroom is supposed to be growing out of? Would you rather have that growing on the piece of wood it's supposed to, in the woods where it's supposed to, getting the sunlight and the clean air that it's supposed to in the woods? Or would you rather have a mushroom that is grown on oats or grain, where they inoculate the oats and grain substrate, put it in a bag, poke some holes in it, and put it in a dark, damp basement, where then that pops out? They don't even wait for the fruiting body. The primordia, which is the little baby mushroom that pops its head out, the moment it does that, they take the entire thing, grind it up, and put it in a capsule or a powder. And that's what 90% of the products are. Ohm, what's all the ones you put in your coffee? Rise, what's Bud water? They are all. However, this is the difference. Those are more like a food. It's like soy tempeh. Soy tempeh is when soy takes over and creates like this food. You can have like a mycelium tempeh. So that's what's so cool about mushrooms, is they can both be a functional food and a functional medicine. But if you're using it as a medicine, the only way that you're going to get all of the things that I'm going to talk about, all of the wonderful medicinal properties, is if you're extracting it from the fruiting body, that pretty little, what we know as mushrooms, what's on your boob, what's on your left boob in the middle over there. So we need the mushrooms to grow in the right place, meaning out in the environment that they're supposed to. And we also need them to, you got to understand, just like hemp, there's a certain time when you want to harvest that mushroom or that hemp. So you want to make sure they're harvested correctly, they're manufactured correctly, and manufacturing correctly means you have to extract those medicinal properties out of it. We can't just take the shiitake and eat it. We can, and get some amazing vitamins and benefits from it. But if we need the medicine, we're not going to get it, because it has this outer layer that protects it, and you can't get to it unless you extract it. So extraction is usually a dual extraction, meaning you do hot water, and then sometimes some of the mushrooms need alcohol to get some of those real good medicinal properties. And then you have to preserve it. We put it right into a jar, and we use organic vegetable glycerin to keep it purified, as a preservative, just like the day it was extracted. And then the other thing I do, because we have incredible research now that shows us that when you put more than one mushroom or adaptogen together, and mushrooms are considered adaptogens, they become very powerful and very synergistic. So we already, have research that shows, okay, just reishi by itself does amazing things for the immune system, but add 3 or 4 other mushrooms and an ashwagandha, and you have a very powerful, all-natural medicine. So the other thing I want people to understand is that mushrooms are an incredible source of vitamin D and vitamin D3, but they don't make vitamin D unless they have exposure to the sun.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it's just little things like that it really matters how they're grown and how they're manufactured.
I've heard of mushrooms being described as more of almost more human than they are even a plant.
They are. They're not anywhere near. They're closer to being more like us than they are to plants. So again, another wonderful thing that Mother Nature has provided us, and why I say hemp and mushrooms will save the world, because they can both be used as food. They are an incredible source of nutrients. You can make clothing out of them. You can do just about anything with both of them. They are going to literally save the world one day.
You can make clothing out of them?
Heck yeah. Paul Stamets, for instance, has a hat made out of mushrooms. Heck yeah. Hemp is the most, hemp itself is like the most incredible fiber, strongest fiber. And the reason that we don't all know about that is because the cotton industry would put the cotton industry out of business. So
But let's talk about this, because you went right into extraction. I thought that there might be like a little learning curve here where we have to explain to people that medicinal mushrooms are not shrooms. I think we have passed that.
Yeah.
So I want to jump right into the extraction, though, because I think that, when you asked that question, and it was a little bit of a tilted question, do you want something grown in nature or in a bag? Right? Like, of course we want it grown in the woods, because there is so much, that the synergy that happens with these incredible plants. There's so much that especially mushrooms get from the world around them. So can you speak a little bit to how you extract mushrooms, how this sourcing, someone commented, sourcing really does matter. And that's for very much everything, but I think especially for mushrooms. So speak a little bit to the technique that is used and the sourcing for these mushrooms.
That's right. It's called wild crafted. So literally it's a co-op of farmers that are mostly in Oregon, and they all literally inoculate the log or whatever it is that the mushroom is supposed to be growing on and go put it out in the woods. We also, our tinctures are spagyric tinctures, which I won't even go into that.
I love that. Little bit.
We loved that when you first told us. We were like, oh,
spagyric.
yes.
What's really funny though is I'm in this incredible, I just went through this incredible a certification program for clinicians for medicinal mushrooms with Lee Carroll. And it was great because nobody knows what spagyric is except for him. So you'll see, we'll say that we're triple extracted, which nobody says that. If they do, they don't know how they're using the term. But basically, we dual extract with hot water, alcohol, and then we also take everything that came out of that extraction, meaning the minerals and things like that, and put it back in. It's a very the man that makes my mushroom tinctures this is his life. He's a myco-alchemist, like literally. The moon has to be in this phase at this time for me to harvest the mushroom, and it's awesome. So there's no rushing this process. So if we do run out, everyone needs to be very patient because everything is done in a very small batch and very particular. So
and that's what's so beautiful. And since you said myco alchemist, I want to kind of reveal. Can we reveal? The news, because we're kind of already revealing it.
Well, let me say something, because of course I know all about this. I'm learning, I'm watching my dogs, totally fight off cancer, dementia go away. The research that's out there, the fact that they've been used for 2,000 years in Chinese medicine, is incredible. And I started saying to you guys, cats need this. Cats need this. Cats need this.
Well, maybe before the
now shut up.
Because I think there's a lot of people that are already very excited about this.
Cats do need this.
Cats do need this, and cats now have this. Madison's very excited about it. Speak a little bit to the research, because I think that is the one thing that has really blown my mind. I think we've known for a while, which is why we got some powdered mushrooms 4 or 5 years ago that we started putting in our coffee, because all of those, there was so much research that was coming out for anyone who is remotely natural minded, that there were such benefits, and there was this incredible proactive power to it as well, that don't wait until you have cancer, don't wait until you have dementia. These are things that you can do to really be proactive as human beings, right? So now we can translate that, of course, to our cats and our dogs. They're all of our animals that have the same system. Right. Speak a little bit to the research, though, because I think that that's really what started blowing my mind years ago about medicinal mushrooms.
There's so much research, and whether it's cancer, whether it's they're immune modulators. So that is anything that any adaptogen is an immune modulator. And those of you who don't know what an adaptogen is, an adaptogen is a plant or fungi or sometimes even dirt that when we take them, they literally adapt to our body's stressors and take care of everything. And when you put more of them together, they like really take over. So I just want you to imagine this little army that you take to help keep you healthy, help get rid of rogue cells that maybe are looking bad and trying to maybe form a tumor or cancer or something like that. If you need to ramp up your immune system, it'll do that. If it needs to calm it down, like someone who has an autoimmune disease, that is me. I mean, you should have seen me during COVID. I had my horse heel and my vitality. I was just chugging them down to get through it. But it was like kind of mushrooms, I feel like were the missing piece to certain things that I wasn't able to help at my rescue. And I don't know if you guys have heard this term now, nootropics, which are these plants and natural things that help protect our brain. Yeah. Lion's mane, astragalus root, Bacopa monnieri. These 3 herbs, those 2 herbs in that mushroom alone regrow our telomeres and neurons. They regenerate neurons in our brain. That's incredible.
It is incredible.
And then I remember sharing with you, I'm like, Jay, put that clarity in your coffee and tell me. Oh
my God, guys.
How you feel.
Okay, yeah. Let's do this.
So introducing
Myco. So
yes. So these products, absolutely amazing. But I have to start with for a personal. You guys know, whenever we're like testing out a product, first our cats are going to be the testers, but we're going to test it ourselves first, right? And so we're going to give it to ourselves. And then if all goes well, we're going to start giving it to our cats and see the difference that it makes in all of them.
I also like that you know what it's making you feel like. So watching them to see if they're experiencing the same thing, how they're experiencing that.
Yes, it's crazy. So the first day I was like, clarity. I just need, because you guys know that we've been through like so much. We've just, this whole year has been
Jay's
brain fog.
I've known Jay for 22, almost 23 years. And she does have a very special brain.
Fast.
Very fast.
It's sometimes
I have not seen it like this in the 23 years I've known her.
I haven't seen it like this. I don't think.
Sometimes she just sits there like a computer and it's just like,
yeah, I get
I'm like, what are you doing?
Really
like extra arms come out of your side, and
it's been a lot. But
here's the thing: I've always had I don't remember what you call it, but like it's like a hard out around around 3 p.m. Like my brain's really functioning first thing in the morning, and then around 3 p.m. I start to and I usually drink like an energy drink. Right. I'll be like, so okay, healthy. I got to keep going. I know, so not healthy, but I'll drink something. Sometimes it's green tea, but my body's so used to green tea. It doesn't really do that for me anymore. But then I need to get back up so I can finish the day out. And then by 5 or 6, there's not a lot that I can do, right. I can answer your questions.
There's not a lot that she can do well.
Yes.
Everything starts to melt down.
Yeah. Everything just starts to,
So personal.
So my first, as soon as we got this, I was like, okay, I'm just going to put a shot of it in my coffee this morning. And I only ever have 1 cup of coffee in the morning. And I put just a shot of it in the coffee. And I didn't have any, I went about my day and I did my normal things and I worked and I did whatever. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I noticed it was 7 o'clock at night and I was like, oh, I could clean the kitchen. Oh, I could now do this. Oh, I forgot to send that email. And then I was like, who am I? And I texted you and I was like, girl, I only had 1 shot in my coffee.
That's why I love to, if you've been doing the powders in your coffee, there's a big difference when you get the actual extract and you get a strong extract. I was telling you to go outside because I would be like, I felt all that. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, I am mentally really clear. But then I went outside to take care of my farm and I, caught myself just looking at a leaf going, never realized the texture and the color on this. I'm like, oh wait, this has to be the mushrooms. Everything just kind of seemed so more vibrant. And it's just a beautiful thing. And the fact that it's all natural and it's not hurting anything. And what's crazy is that mushrooms are like 85% water. Mm-hmm. So that's what's so killer. But our Clarity alone has 52% beta glucans. And they are beta glucans. Yep. And they are beta glucans from mushrooms. So a lot of times if you were to look at someone to make a beta glucan claim on one of those other mycelium substrate products, guess where those beta glucans are coming from? The oats that they are grown on. Much different beta glucans. So it is one of the strongest, most potent tinctures on the market, and it is amazing for our dogs. And talking about, this is what made me think of it, is the research. There was just recently a piece of research that said if you stop taking your lion's mane, your cordyceps, the ones that are great for the brain, that within 2 weeks, your brain goes back to the way it was.
Oh, wow.
So it's like an ongoing thing, which makes me go, this is something with us working and living with nature. The fact that that nature wants us to keep on consuming mushrooms to keep our brains protected and healthy, that like makes you go, kind of like it's supposed to be that way.
It does. And
we have an entire system that is in our body. That's the master system that is made to interact with these plants and fungi. Like the receptors and the compounds fit in perfectly like lock and key. It is meant to be.
I love it so much. And well, you did say that it's strong. And so for cat parents, the one question is, well, if it's strong, my cats won't take it, right? And I have to say, we have yet to have one. Now, what we do, because we're doing it on a proactive basis, we don't have a cat with cancer, but I am so glad that we have now a product that can help cats with cancer. And we could talk about that and how you contributed to our beautiful cancer page on our new website. Love you so much for that.
That's a whole nother interview.
Yeah, but we give it to our cats. So we make all their food together, their raw food, and we mix in supplements, and then we dish it out. We have been putting extra and extra of every single one of the tinctures into our cats' dishes, and we have yet to have one cat refuse it or even act like it smelled weird.
The palatability of it is remarkable, I think, for our cats, because they're, I love that so many of our products are fuss-free because they are basically tasteless to our kitties.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I thought, we were taking them, and I personally, I'm sure it's like the vegetable glycerin, which is another huge bonus to this, because I know that's hard to source. And makes it's such a quality product. I was like, I wonder if the babies, but it tastes a little sweet to me. So I was like, oh, well, the cats won't notice that at all. And they really don't. I just think it's a remarkable, for us, like Jay just said, we don't have cats that are very ill right now. And I love that this is something that we can do proactively, and they are just incredibly receptive to it.
Talk a little bit about the breathe in your chicken. I want everybody to hear this story.
And say what's in it too, because all of these products have different mushrooms with different benefits. And we've got your beautiful guide here that really shows what
I love this. I have this hanging up on my desk so that I can sit there and like study it every day and like look if I have any questions. Pets with cancer, pets just medicinal in general, what helps with, today we had somebody with a liver issue and I was like, ooh, let me see. Okay.
Right. Like when you don't know what to get, Vitality is like the go-to. I just learned Vitality, about shiitake being amazing it's an anti-plaque. So it's amazing for tooth care. And like there's literally products like in Asia that are mouthwashes that are just shiitake extract and water. So just things like that you're just like, it is the amount of research and the amount of things. And that's what happened is that is like 10 mushrooms. Mm-hmm. And I was just concentrating on those and literally like, I just have to create a chart to check off every time I find, here's another piece of research for reishi and how it's great for kidneys. Okay, there, whatever it is, there's so much of it. So that's why. And one of the things that bugged me was the knowing that you want to combine them, and having to buy everything separate and then put them together. But the breathe.
Well, yeah, before you jump into the breathe and the story about your chicken, which sounded weird when you said it. I want to give a shout out.
Weird when I say it.
I want to give a shout out for anyone joining us right now. CBD Dog Health, your beautiful team is here, and they are leaving links with the research, with interviews, with all of that. So once this live is over, you guys, there is a wealth of incredible knowledge to consume, and these guides and everything, excuse me, are there as well for you to look into more. So, tell us a little bit about Breathe, this specific tincture, and your story.
This is part of your testing, wasn't it? Or was it just?
I mean, no, I'm just using it. Like, so the 3 tinctures are literally created for what I needed at my rescue farm. And my rescue farm is 1 cat and mostly dogs and lots of farm animals, chickens and geese and ducks and a pig. So everybody uses the medicine, all my medicine, everybody does. That's what's so beautiful about it. And mushrooms are like, as you know, nobody's going to get, you're not going to get high off of them. These aren't psilocybin. They don't have psilocybin in them. Although give me a year and I'll be back on here talking about how amazing psilocybin is. We do have some, no cats yet, but do have some dogs that are having tremendous response to psilocybin for PTSD.
Wow.
So, and seeing like major behavioral changes. So that's something we'll talk about another time, but yeah, completely don't have to worry about it. What I deal with mostly on my farm are old. My dogs were always old and usually had issues. My dogs that were just getting old and had no issues, it was either breathing or hacking or dementia. I was like putting cancer into remission and then losing dogs to dementia. So I was like, all right, I got to find something that helps me with this and strong. And that's where Clarity, how I created Clarity. Breathe. My old man, when 16 and a half, started his hacking, which now, like, I understand all old dogs go through, or any breathing issues. That's why I created that one. I started to look at what mushrooms and herbs I could put together to help him with that, and literally could sleep through the night. No more hacking in the middle of the night. And Breathe is one of our most popular for our little dogs with the squished faces that have trouble. A tremendous response for people using it for those dogs.
Oh my God.
But I had a chicken, old chicken who I could tell was having trouble breathing. She was just, opening her mouth when she was breathing. I'm pretty sure it was gapeworm. I'm not sure, but every time she would do it, I'd give her Breathe, and it would last like a whole week. And then it would start again. I'd give her Breathe again, and she'd be good for a whole week. So it was like I just keep on giving it to her until it stopped and went away. But what's beautiful about these things is that if you can combine them, you can use them proactively, you can use them with conventional methods. They're completely natural, and they're not going to have any bad interactions with something that you're doing already. This is pure extracts right out of that mushroom, and we don't put anything else in it to mess with that medicine. And they're beautiful because you get to put them in their food instead of like where hemp, you got to put it's an oil and you got to get it on their gums or put it in their paws or in their ears or whatever. Right. And putting it in their food is, of course, is an option, but not the best option. These can go right into their food. And I love that. So,
although they do go very well together too. Cannabis. Yeah.
Cannabis is the queen of all adaptogens. You've got a sick cat, a cat with a disease, an elderly cat. I always say of anybody who's a senior citizen, animal or human, needs to be on a full spectrum hemp extract, because again, you're using it proactively. You're helping your endocannabinoid system function correctly. You're helping your body stay at homeostasis or work towards homeostasis. So everyone should take one every day. It's not going to do nothing but help.
Yeah. Especially those cats with like aggressive cancer issues. And it's really hard to put a cat through chemotherapy, right, and all of the treatments, radiation, things like that. Like it's most.
None of that is fun. And the cat is not feeling good. And I don't think it's fair. People need to understand oncology is new to the veterinary world, and that's because it's big money. Yeah. And like by next year, it's going to be like a $30 billion industry. So I want people to understand that those big pharmaceutical companies that make tons of money off of us in the human side, they have animal arms, and they're going, oh, wait a minute. We can do all this with no repercussions, because doesn't matter if they kill your cat. What are you going to do about it? Sue them? And guess what? If you get a nice judge, the judge is going to go, okay, pay their vet bills. How much was it? So it's not, they don't care. There are a lot of bad players, and they are making money, and they don't care about our pets at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And most of us, when we get that scary diagnosis of the C word, it is, it's basically, and many vets will even say, listen, we can go through chemotherapy, but honestly, do you want to put your cat through that? Or do we want to just go ahead and euthanize them? Right. And so unfortunately, and we've been in that position ourselves in the past, and it's like, what do we have? He seems like he's at death's door. And he does not, we didn't have access to all of this at that time. We didn't know any of this at that time. And he was my soul cat. And it was like, okay, do we put you through chemotherapy or do we just put you out of your misery? And to know that for those of now that there are so many answers that we can, they're not going to live forever. We're not going to be
even given the holistic option. No. We're not even told that there's another way.
No.
Even we have to figure it out ourselves. That's what pisses me off the most. Nina, amputation, radiation, chemotherapy, and she's still gonna be dead in 6 months, and you'll be out $20,000, $30,000.
Yep.
No, that doesn't make any sense. So,
yep.
I'm really glad that I never thought I'd be creating natural medicine. And I'm really glad that I have this in my arsenal so that I can immediately, anybody gets sick or hurt on my farm, I have what I need to take away that pain, take away that stress and anxiety, and then give myself some so that I can calm down and figure out what to do next.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what's really exciting about this. I mean, there really is an explosion of natural options out there, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
But as someone mentioned earlier, sourcing is so important to always understand.
Right.
Understanding how these tinctures or supplements or whatever it is, you have to know how they're made and know what goes into it and recognize that a quality product. I love that you said, you guys, if we run out, please be patient, because there are no shortcuts with this product.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot,
small batch.
You can't truncate nature, right? You can't do that sort of thing. So I believe, I think that some vets do get a bad rap, and I believe that they're still one of our most powerful teammates,
right,
for our pets. But to have this kind of knowledge and access to these kinds of products, especially proactively, I'm really blown away by the research of, especially with animals, that are given this opportunity proactively before there are issues. And then what happens, as just the natural aging process happens, recognizing just how powerful these systems are. So the proactive part of this is incredibly powerful, but we are so excited for what we were just talking about, which are people that reach out to us on a daily basis saying, my cat was just diagnosed, quality of life is still okay.
Yeah.
What can you recommend? And now we have.
We used to just send videos. We'd be like, okay, I know that Dr. Katie Woodley talked about this. Of course, Angela Ardolino. And then we've got these all these products can help. And then we just send them all the information, but we didn't have anything and we didn't have the beautiful protocol that you wrote out that is on our new website that we are so, so, so grateful for, because it's
so helpful.
Well, I like to say that every animal is an individual, and this is a protocol that I created that worked for my animals, and that of course, everybody can, whatever your animal may need. But what the biggest reason for me sharing this protocol is because I want to show people that it is simple. that we don't have to bombard them with a whole bunch of drugs or a whole bunch of supplements, a whole bunch of vitamins. Mushrooms are so packed full of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, antioxidants. Chaga has more antioxidants than anything else on earth. So literally between a good diet, mushrooms and hemp, there really isn't anything that you can't help or solve. There may be another adaptogen or herb or something you need when you have a flare up or something goes wrong, or you have a maybe GI issue that you need to resolve. But knowing that, to me, like, that's literally my next goal. I feel like that those three things, I can really bring anybody to homeostasis or back to life, extend their life. You're not going to get the prognosis, I guess I should say, from the diagnosis anymore. It's not going to be that way. It's believe the diagnosis, not the prognosis. Nina was given 6 months to live, and she lived 26 months, 850 days, 500 days past what chemotherapy, radiation, and an amputation have proven in research. So like that's what always amazed me is where's the research? Well, there's a ton of research and it's all done on animals. Everything that's done on us is done on animals. So we have every piece of research, things like finding receptors in dogs' brains tissue or in their gut tissue. So this is not something that's new. It's just something that's being kept from you. Like every time, I don't ever watch regular television unless I'm like traveling and for some reason the TV gets on and then the next thing you're watching like regular TV and you're like, oh, what's that? I haven't seen that in so long. And you hear the commercials or you even hear the news story. And I'm literally standing there screaming at the television because, oh, there's a new drug that's been discovered that's great for blah, blah, blah cancer. And it does this and this. And I'm just yelling at it going, mushrooms do that. Mushrooms do that naturally.
But now the side effects that they spend the majority of the commercial explaining to you while someone walks in a field. You know what I mean? It's like
why is it that's what the news is reporting on? Why isn't the news reporting on how many people are finding relief from natural?
You know that. You know why.
What I think though is there is a shift right now, and I'm so excited by this beautiful community that we're part of because I think that it is so amazing when we do find things that are helpful to us. Our motto is learn, share, and grow. We are all about understanding we do not know everything, but when we learn something, when we see how something works, we want to share it so that we can all grow together. And I do think that by and large, the overall people can consume whatever content they want. Right. So it is a movement that is growing, and it isn't about being like, oh, big pharma this and big pharma that. It's about really growing where we're planted and letting that bloom. Yeah, so this is such an exciting time because I feel like not only is this kind of new to a lot of us cat people, right? Like
very new because we're the only ones doing it. Thanks to you.
It was the same thing when it happened with hemp. I was like, oh my gosh, do you know how this could help cats?
It's amazing. Crazy. And how often I'm blown away by us when we learn something that's healthy for us. We're like, oh, that's great. We should get that. Never once thinking like, would this be good for our babies?
We had been taking mushrooms ourselves for years. So long before you came out with Myco Dog and then started talking to us, and we were like,
cats need this.
I do the same thing. Like I remember being that person where I lived this whole natural lifestyle, don't eat certain things or whatever, but I'm giving that crap to my dog. Wait a minute. What am I doing? This makes no sense kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want people to think that I'm judging or whatever. I used to be that pet parent. Remember my first dog, I did everything wrong and I lost her at 7 years. So I have, my second schnauzer, I did everything right. And I doubled my first schnauzer's life. So I learned a lot and it's not going to happen. And nobody can tell me things like THC's toxic and going to kill your dog, or, they can't have mushrooms, or mushrooms aren't as powerful as, whatever it is. And I'm like, yes, they are. Yeah. And we've been using them forever. I didn't even talk about how they're also incredible sources of their functional food. And they're an amazing food for their gut. So feeding your cats mushrooms is like a whole, if you can get them to eat it, a whole separate thing. But
these aren't the tinctures,
so
everyone. These
no,
are
this
actual.
these aren't the tinctures. This is
Right.
like the actual.
Yes.
My favorite food on the planet. Like if you ask me what is your favorite food, I say mushrooms because it's always been like my.
Oh, that is awesome. That is good. That course that very extensive practitioner course that I'm going through, he recommends us eating them 3 times a week because the chitin, which is the protective layer on the outside, that's what we can't break down to get the tinctures. That's why we have to put it through an extraction. But when you cook it a little bit and break it down, it becomes an incredible prebiotic. It literally passes all the way to the large intestines. It creates like a lining and it acts and feeds the gut microbiome for 13 days straight.
Isn't that crazy? And these are shiitake specifically, right?
Yeah, these are shiitake mushrooms that they found that research, which is also funny because shiitake is also the only mushroom that they have found have some allergens when it's raw. But when it's cooked, there's no concern. So they're much better cooked. But yeah, chopping them up into small pieces, doing some olive oil, avocado oil, 20 minutes in the oven to bake them and feed. If you can get your kitty to eat it, it is amazing for them. And of course, for us.
Do you have a favorite place where you source them? Because I'm thinking about this I'm taking a side note from cats right now. But there are people in my family that are all concerned about colon cancer. And I believe that would be like a hasta la vista, right? So
colon and breast are where the most mushrooms, I found the most research.
Where do you have a favorite place that you source for yourself and that you would also source for your animals? That is available to people.
Yeah, if you always make sure they're organic because they're bioaccumulators. They're going to suck everything out of the ground and air. So making sure they're organic and then getting them from a place, if you can go to a natural market that's selling organic. Actually, my favorite place is if you can go to a farmer's market and find someone who's actually growing them themselves and get those. Otherwise, make sure they're always organic. I don't know how you would be able to tell how they're grown from like a package. I get mine mostly from my supplier now or like my fresh market type of place where I know how they're grown and what they are. I know some places have incredible selection of mushrooms. And all mushrooms have different compounds and some are stronger and do better things, but a lot of them we can't eat. You can't really eat turkey tail or reishi, which are two of them, or chaga, which are the most powerful. Chaga is actually great in a tea. It's really bitter. So is reishi, but the ones we can eat, like maitake and the button mushrooms and shiitake, oh my God, so packed with nutrients. Like all the nutrients we don't get from our vegetables anymore, we can find in our mushrooms. They actually have much more protein than vegetables do. So they're so incredible, the fact that they are medicine and a food. I love them.
Do you know, I'm so excited because we've gone down the rabbit hole into the research, and I don't think I've been to every link that your awesome team has dropped here yet. But I'm so excited for this live because someone asked me a replay of this. This is going to be posted on our Facebook and our YouTube channel forever. Mm-hmm. And these links are also going to be there forever. So what a wealth of knowledge. I think that it's so eye-opening. It's such a beautiful thing. Like you said at the top of this interview, when you realize that how powerful these beautiful extracts plants are, it's so incredible. It's so exciting to realize how much fear it takes away, right? When you know that you have tools that can help. I loved it.
And I remember last time I saw Dr. Karen Becker speak and someone said, do we have to worry about mushrooms at all? And she said, no. They're 80% water, nothing to worry about. And I was like, awesome. There's really nothing to worry about cannabis either. The things that you have to worry about with plants and fungi is someone manufacturing them wrong, growing them wrong, putting pesticides or herbicides, growing them in the wrong environment or on the wrong substrate. So that's the things we have to worry about, is that people are messing them up instead of, just going and picking it up out of the ground and extracting it yourself, which you can do. I mean, you can do it your own extraction when you're basically when you're making a tea out of something, you're putting it in hot water. So you're getting some of those medicinal properties. You're not getting as many as that are in that bottle, because we go through a process to make sure we get it all and then not damage it and keep it all together.
Can we, for anyone just joining us, can we talk a little bit about each one of the products and what is in them? Because I really feel like this is, you say a lot of the cordyceps and the this and the that and the, I love how you talk about this. So there are 3 products that are now available for all of our cats, and they're also available for all of your dogs as well. The first one, we were talking about Breathe a little bit.
Yeah. Breathe is awesome. Breathe has ashwagandha in it, which is an amazing adaptogens. It's one of the most powerful adaptogens, second to probably cannabis, because it's so amazing. And Breathe also, I already forgot what is in Breathe. Breathe is our cordyceps, reishi, artist conch, and chaga combination. So when I was creating this with Jason, my alchemist, it's like, okay, which ones? Here's our choices of what our farmers grow, which ones are best for cardiovascular, lung support, any breathing issues. And that's what we put together are these mushrooms. Also have to remember that these are also the ones that are grown here and we can source here. So someone might know of another mushroom that is great for lung support, but I probably couldn't source it here. So this was a long process of which ones can we get on a regular basis, which ones are proven best for this, and then combining them. So those are our favorite.
And we're finding out that it works for much more than even just cardiovascular and lung support.
That's why I think this PDF that your team shared here is really exciting, because when you see what mushrooms benefit what issues, it just really opens up your whole
so
mind.
Even though vitality is like my cancer, autoimmune disease, your old cat that has lots of issues, it's also the go-to when you don't know which one to choose.
Yep.
This is my favorite. Jay has a favorite. This one is mine, because I feel like I don't know what to choose. And this one has turkey tail, reishi, shiitake, is it maitake?
Maitake.
Maitake, chaga, artist conch, red belted conch.
So red belted conch, artist conch is a lot like reishi. It's white reishi. Reishi is like, the cannabis of herb is the queen of herbs, and it's like the queen of the mushrooms. It is the mushroom of immortality. That's why it's in every single one of the tinctures. It is so powerful. It has triterpenoids in it that you don't find in any of the other mushrooms. I also want to point out that both chaga and turkey tail have compounds in them that bind to the CB2 receptor in the endocannabinoid system. So these are other things exactly. So just imagine when you're taking those two in combination, what they must be doing in your body and how they must be helping things. I mean, it really, if I can take my, regular regimen, you can feel the difference. So, your pets are feeling the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And you think about like how much that they need to feel the difference too, especially when it comes to our little kitties, right?
What I didn't mention in vitality is astragalus root, which is that's another mother lode, great for the brain, so incredible with the immune system. These are like such incredible adaptogens and herbs that I just I want to put them on a t-shirt. The t-shirts that have like the famous people written on them. I just want to write ashwagandha, astragalus root, bacopa maneri, chaga.
You've gone too far.
Because they're such powerhouses.
They are.
And they're not new. They're like literally, I want people to understand you literally could type in whatever your cat has and mushroom research and probably find it. And you don't even have to put your cat, just put the disease mushroom animal research and it's gonna pop up. That's how much there is out there.
Before we get to Jay's favorite and we talk about clarity, Laura, I'm not sure if you can answer this without looking into more stuff, but Lauren asked, is there any way for us to find out the specific amounts of the adaptogenic herbs in Vitality? My holistic vet is hesitant
for me to use it with my dog, prefer a different product. So we don't know.
Sure. It's 100 milligrams of each of the adaptogenic herbs are in Vitality. So this is like, we put proprietary formula because it is. So I got advised I had it all up everywhere, how much of everything that I have in there. And I was told to take it down and not put in there and put proprietary formula. So I did, because I did.
It's going to be
but I will tell you.
Yeah. And but when someone asks her in that thing, I want everyone to understand all my products, nothing in them. You could drink the entire bottle. You give your animal the entire bottle. Nothing is going to happen to them, except like if it's hemp, they're probably going to maybe have some diarrhea from the oil, sleep from the, THC and the CBD, but it's nothing is going to cause them any harm. So I want them to realize that the dosing of it is I would never make something that would harm. That's what's so beautiful about making something all natural and not messing with it.
Yep.
I love that so much. Yep. And I love that you're always transparent and know what you're talking about. Yep. Okay, so finally, Jay's favorite, hands down her favorite. She's going to drink our entire stock.
I know. I'm like, man.
It is not a cheap product. And I'm like, lay off a little bit. Clarity. Talk about Clarity a little bit more.
Clarity. Clarity is lion's mane, which is, a powerhouse, but combine it with some chaga and cordyceps and ashwagandha, and you've got and reishi, and you've got an incredible nootropic for your pets, basically. Something that is going to protect their brain, that's going to regenerate neurons, regrow telomeres. It's like, it's basically anti-aging. It's preventing their brain from going backwards and instead regenerating neurons, which I think is freaking incredible.
I do. It could be like the cure for like dementia.
It is. I mean, I have watched dogs go from complete lost, wandering around, in the room, not knowing where they are, to completely back and on it and making eye contact. And, none of that. Like, you can tell if anybody has a dog or a cat that they start seeing that kind of, sundowning and, sleeping a lot and maybe getting lost, or you can't find them, or they're like, what I found the most is they get up in the middle of the night and start walking around confused and kind of thing. Yeah. All that goes away. It literally goes away. It's very, very cool.
I love it so much. So great for our senior kitties.
Our beautiful Marilyn is here.
These, but especially the Clarity and Vitality, and that
I just think they all are.
Oh, they all are for sure. But like, you have a senior, senior kitty, and you want to be proactive because you're like, they're really starting to slow down. They're really starting to, let's get them on this. If they already have some issues, let's get them on this. Like, this is what they need.
Yeah.
Marilyn's, it's rare for cats. So she said she's also dealing with a cat that's hyperthyroid. Mm-hmm. So do you have any off the top of your...
is not rare for cats.
Hypothyroid
is rare for cats.
Hyper.
Yeah.
Do you mean hypo or hyper?
Dogs deal with hypothyroidism more than, and cats deal with hyperthyroidism.
I don't know, but it is an overactive thyroid, correct?
Yes.
Yes, I would think it would absolutely calm it down. I don't know anything off the top of my head, but you know what? Anybody can email me. I'm Angela@AngelaArdolino.com. And I will,
the description.
You can't find it, I'll find it. Or I'll tell you, there really hasn't ever been a time that I haven't been able to find some, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to find it. Half the time I'm like, I don't know what this disease is. And then I get to learn all about the disease and go,
same.
That's
how I learned the majority, right? The majority of what I've learned is because somebody comes to me and I'm like, what is that? I got to do some research. I got to ask my peoples. I got to see I love it.
And then what I've learned from that is every disease is based on inflammation of something.
Yep.
And that is exactly what cannabis does. That's what these mushrooms do. They interact. That's what the endocannabinoid system is responsible for, keeping the inflammation down, keeping us at homeostasis. So it's always going to help.
Yep.
It's always going to be a yes. I'm trying to think if there's ever been a no.
No.
If it's a no, if it's never a no. It's a maybe we need to add more THC, or maybe we need to add another adaptogen. You know, for instance, Odie, my soul dog that I lost, you know, not too long ago, in his last week, he was having, you know, it would almost look like Parkinson's, uncontrollable spasms kind of thing. And I could control it, make him stop with THC, but it also knocked him out. So I was like, well, I don't want him knocked out all day. So I just add more adaptogens, different adaptogens. Okay, which adaptogen is going to be best for this? And then I give it to him. And a lot of times it's other wonderful herbalists that make incredible products. So I'll use their products with my products. And then now I've got this awesome little, you know, protocol for my old man, you know, and his hospice care kind of thing, where he can be comfortable and not, you know, suffering, and at the same time not completely knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
It's so incredible. I love how much. I love that you had no intention of being this crazy,
beautiful,
invested formulator for these incredible products.
I thought I was going to grow it. That's what when cannabis changed my life and helped me get rid of all my pain, what I noticed first is nobody was growing medicine. They were growing, you know, if we're growing medicine, we want the same outcome every time we take that medicine. And nobody was doing that. So that's what I thought I was going to end up doing. But, you know, I don't have billions of dollars. And so I wasn't allowed to be a cultivator. So, but I know how to grow it. I know everything about the science and therapeutic uses and how it works and the biology. So I learned all sides of how to grow these incredible natural things. And guess what? They just need to grow outside like they're supposed to.
It's
supposed to be out there.
Rocket science. Yeah, let nature.
It's not. It's so much common sense. And like, I find myself all the time going, keep it simple, keep it simple. What WWND, what would nature do? Or what would Mother Nature do? Like, it's just, we need to stop messing with it. And that's what I think people are like, okay, how do we make this cheaper? Or how do we make it, you know, whatever, addictive or whatever it is? And that's not what we do. We just take the goodness right out of the fruity body or the flower and then preserve it and give it to our pets. Well, I mean, I hope that this is what they were doing when they were in nature, you know, when they were wild and finding, what do you think they were doing? What do you think they did when they got a stomach ache? They went out and found that mushroom or that herb or that plant that was growing in nature that calmed their stomach down.
Yep.
So we're just making it easier and bringing the nature back to them.
It is about bringing nature back. And I think it's such a great empowering reminder how you got to where you are and the things that you create especially for our companion animals, that sometimes if you don't see someone doing what it is that you need, you have to do it yourself.
Yep.
And it's possible.
I know. And now you can't stop me. I can't stop the things that I want to create. Ooh-wee. Because like literally this is what I say every day. Really? I can't find it? I need to make that too? But this is ridiculous.
Yes.
Oh, but we love you for it. And we're so grateful for you.
And we weren't going to keep you this long. I'm just looking now at the.
I'm like, we're almost at an hour.
Wow. See, that's what happens when we get together. I like that.
That's so true. You guys, we're so excited to be able to offer this to the cat community. We are so grateful to you and all the work that you've put into this entire line of products. The sourcing, the quality of the product. We love it so much.
Yeah. And that's why we're so honored to be able to bring it to the cat community.
I'm so honored to do this with you guys. I love what you do and how you educate and share all your information. It's like, I feel like what an achievement. I'm so glad I got to do this with you, and we're going to help so many kitties, and I'm so excited. And I don't know if anybody listening, if you're coming to Super Zoo, y'all are coming to my booth, CBD Dog Health's booth at Super Zoo. We'll have Myco Cat there if anybody wants to see it or try it. And of course, meet y'all in person. But I can't believe I get to see you like in 2 weeks.
I
can't
know.
wait for the
I'm so
hugs.
excited for like a real hug. It's been like since 2019 or something.
I know. That's insane. That's insane.
That's coming. Thank you so much for all of your time, all of your knowledge, all of your passion tonight, all of this amazing work.
Yep.
And guys, the link for joining us. Yeah.
Yes, the link is in the description. I think I put mycocat.com, but you can also go to mushroomsforcats.com, or you can go to twocrazycatladies.com to get your cats these tinctures. We are just so blessed. We just feel so blessed and so excited to be able to offer this to the cat community. And it's only because of you. So thank you so much.
And if you're going to try it, keep track. We want to hear about your success stories. I'm going to share their stories.
I'm going to be screenshotting and texting you every success story. You're going to be like, man, I'm going to silence her.
Never.
Oh, we love you so much. And we love all of you guys. And we will see you very soon.
Love you guys. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Give your babies